Hi, my name is Amanda, and today I will be evaluating the functionality of VoiceOver on a first-generation iPad Pro while using an app called Elevate. And Elevate is a brain training app that can be used for personal development, recreation and leisure, and to hone skills in reading, writing, speaking, listening, and mathematics through the use of targeted mini games. Elevate has been developed for both Apple and Android mobile devices, as well as for use on the PC, but as mentioned before today, I'm going to be demonstrating it on an Apple iPad Pro. A link to the Apple iTunes Store and website can be found in the information below this video. So to get started, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my accessibility shortcut by triple tapping the home button towards the bottom of my device and selecting VoiceOver.
VoiceOver on. Tips. Double tap to open.
Next, I'm searching for the Elevate app, and I'm going to do this by swiping my finger to the right and cycling through the apps until I'm near the one that I'm wanting.
Tips. Tips. Find iPhone. iTunes U. SCO. Week Cal Age. Moon. Snap Type Pro. Color DX. Sight Words. Bitsport. Quizlet. Elevate. Double tap to open.
Elevate has been located, so I'm double tapping to open.
Elevate. All games training screen link. Button.
Elevate opens on a training session menu, but it doesn't open consistently on this menu, and it doesn't open consistently in the location that it opens. So the games list that it read is at the top right of the screen, but what I've learned is that Elevate will open wherever it is you closed it from. So if you were in the middle of a game, or if you were looking at different activities or performance graphs, and you went to go and open it, that is where it would open. So it doesn't open consistently in the same place. That's important because you need to know that you might have to swipe left or right in order to understand where you are on the screen itself and in the app itself. But for us today, it opened at the top right at the games list. And there is a bunch of information, 5 different training sessions that we were able to do today. And then information towards the bottom of the screen. So I'm going to once again swipe right to navigate through this list.
Equivalence, math. Detail, writing. Transitions, writing. Percentages, math. Association, reading.
It read all of the information that was presented visually in the form of words without a problem, and that included what the game was and the category that it was in. However, it did not read the icons or images that were to the left of those. The screen reader does not read any of the images presented within this app. And also there's like a little space in between association reading, which was the 5th label that we just listened to, and the next bit of information, and the screen reader kind of recognizes this as a blank text box. So I swiped right and it made that little click noise which moved down the screen, but there isn't any information to read. So I'm going to swipe right again.
New session tomorrow. Explore other games. Button.
And that just lets you know that you can explore the other games through that button. And then below this is a list of tabs that are on almost every page within the app unless you're actually within gameplay. And these remain the same. And I actually appreciated the features that they put here. So I'm going to swipe through this.
Selected. Training. Tab. 1 of 5.
And what I liked about it was it names each of the tabs and tells you which number tab you are on. So for example, training was 1 of 5 and it goes to 5 of 5. So it just helps with navigation and being able to know where you're at. And again, these consistently are at the bottom of the screen and remain the same. So I'm going to actually scroll to the swipe left, so that way we can get into gameplay.
New session tomorrow. Association, percentages, math.
And we're going to try the math percentages. So I'm going to double tap to open.
Percentages.
And this takes us to a new screen. And once again, the screen reader reads the title of the page, which is percentages, and it reads that well, but there is an icon that it skips over. And also there are pieces of information that are above the icon and the label or the title screen, or the title for the screen. There's like a little X button at the top left to back out of this part of the app. And then on the top right, there is a question mark, and you can access it. It just makes you go through the entire page in order to get to them. And again, you would do that by swiping right. So it reads percentages. I'm swiping right.
Math.
It tells you you're in the category math.
12,628.
And then it gives you a bunch of number information. And there's actually, visually, there are 4 boxes here that are presented. But as you continue to swipe, it's just going to give you a series of 4 numbers that you don't really have any context for, because it's all on the same line. And so my screen reader not only reads from top to bottom, but it also reads from left to right. Even if the visual information is organized within smaller text boxes, it will read the information all together from left to right.
121/300. 2 minutes. 2.
So I was swiping through the rest of that line, and now I'm going to swipe right again.
High score.
And it dropped us down a line of information. So that's telling you that the first number that we heard, the 12,628, is actually the high score. So this is organized in a way that is not conducive for people who do not have vision. So I'm going to continue to swipe through this.
Difficulty. Time trained. Wins. Benefits.
And we're at the next level, or the next line of information. And we kind of have the same trouble here as we did with the series of numbers before. Benefits is in a small box to the left hand of the screen, and to the right hand side of the screen is top scores, and they're in these sort of makeshift text boxes. So benefits has 3 different pieces of information that it wants to tell you, and then the top scores has a total of 10 pieces of information that it could tell you. Only 2 of them are filled, but they're organized in a way that they're in 2 different columns, and they each have 5 rows. So 1 through 5 is on the left hand side of that box, and 6 through 10 is on the right hand side of that box. However, again, my screen reader reads from left to right, so the information is jumbled, and I'll quickly go through that to show you what I mean. So I'm going to swipe right.
Top 10 scores. Calculate complex percentages easily.
So we reached a new line. So even though it said top scores, it went over back to the left of the screen and is telling you a benefit. So one of the benefits is that you can calculate complex percentages easily. And if we swipe right,
1.
we just hear 1. So if we swipe right again,
12,628.
I know that this is talking about a top 10 score, but that's not clearly indicated.
6. Hyphen.
I swiped right 2 more times, and again it went over to the column 6. The hyphen means that there's not any information here. The game hasn't been played 6 times, so there's not a 6th top score. So I'm going to swipe right again.
2. 9,485. 7. Hyphen.
And after we are on that second line within the top scores, if we swipe right again,
compute discounts and markups on products in your head.
Then we're getting another benefit. So the information is really jumbled. I'm going to swipe through to get to the question mark.
3. Hyphen. 8. Hyphen. 4. Hyphen. 9. Hyphen. Become 5. Hyphen.
Which I can do it that way, or I can say, oh, I know that this is always in the upper right corner, so I'm going to find the upper right corner and tap.
Question button white. Button.
I got the question button. I'm going to double tap.
Instructions.
And so it reads the instructions menu, and I'm going to swipe right.
Use the number pad to enter your answer to the prompt above.
And it reads what the instruction is. However, it does not read the information which is presented in like a picture graphic, which says 50% of 1200. And there is a drawn image, or like a computer graphic image of a number pad with the numbers 1 through 6. And there's a pointer finger, and it's just pressing on 6 for now. So it's not picking up on any of the images. So I'm going to swipe right.
Page 1 of 3. Adjustable. Swipe up or down with 1 finger to adjust the value.
And so again, it does recognize that because we have our voiceover on, the gestures change. And within that, instead of, like, if we didn't have VoiceOver on, we would be swiping through this from left to right. But because we have VoiceOver on, we're going to do up or down. So it did read that properly. I'm going to swipe.
Page 2 of 3.
And so I swiped up to get to page 2 of 3. But again, my screen reader is at the adjustable tab, so I would need to swipe left or right in order to have it read the instructions to me. So I'm going to swipe left.
Tap submit when you have finished entering your answer. Instructions.
And so the instructions are, and I'm going to swipe right.
Tap submit when you have finished entering your answer. Page 2 of 3. Adjustable. Swipe up or down with one finger to adjust the value.
And we can also continue to swipe right.
Next button.
And there's a next button that's presented at the bottom of the page, which will also move us along. So I'm
done.
I double tapped next, and it's highlighting done. So if I swipe right,
page, use your 2 instructions.
Instructions.
Use your 2 previous answers from the set to help solve the final prompt.
So again, this is presenting a visual graphic. It says 60% of 1200, and then there's information. 10% is 120, 50% is 600. So they're teaching you like different tips and skills to use. But again, none of this information is read with the screen reader. So we can swipe through for done.
Page 3 of 3. Done. Button.
And double tap.
Percentages.
And now we'll get into gameplay. And instead of going through all of the information about the benefits and top scores again, the gameplay button is down towards the bottom of the screen. And again, that's consistent with all of the app features. So I'm going to tap towards the bottom of my device.
Play button.
I found play, so I'm going to double tap.
Play.
And it says 10% of 100 or of 1,400. So I'm trying to press any button. And this is not working for me. And now it's there's
Elevate grabber.
a timer that says 4 seconds left. 1 second left. 0. And again, it's not reading any of this. So there's a timer that is going off, and I cannot use any of the functions on the screen in actual gameplay. And so we ended up losing a life, which there's hearts up in the top right corner of the screen. There's 3 hearts, so we lost 1 life. And it says tip: to calculate 10%, move the decimal point 1 place to the left of the original number. And then it gives us an option to continue. So none of this is working.
Elevate grabber.
So I'm going to triple tap my home button.
Alert. Accessibility shortcuts.
And what I found out how to do this while I was playing, because that forces the pause screen to come up. So I'm going to tap my, or click my home button again.
Elevate. Close. Button.
And it automatically says the close button, which would make you think that you could close the app. However, this is the pause screen. So I would swipe right.
Paused.
And so this is all the pause screen, and the screen reader does read the pause screen. And what I'm wanting to do is go back to the main menu. So I'm going to swipe through.
Resume. Restart. Button. Main menu. Button.
Double click.
All games training screen link. Button.
And I'm back to the all games training screen link. So even though parts of the app are accessible via the screen reader, the actual gameplay is not accessible, and that's true for all of the games that I've tried. But there was another piece of information that I thought was interesting that I wanted to share. And so I'm going to, once again, I know that I'm at the sessions training screen, so I'm going to press the towards the bottom of the screen.
Selected. Training. Tab. 1 of 5.
Training tab 1 of 5. I'm going to swipe right.
Performance. Tab. 2 of 5.
Performance. Double tap.
EPQ.
And so it does read the performance graph. So this is a bunch of graphs presenting various types of data. And so I'm going to swipe through to show you how it reads that.
Share. Button. Question. Writing. 3,573. Advanced. Listening, 2,288, intermediate.
So it's giving you the data, but it's not letting you know that it's actually in like a bar graph form. So there's different brackets that start from the left and produce the data towards the right. So I'm going to swipe through this.
Reading, math, average, EPQ, share, button, rankings.
And then the rankings are there, and I'm going to swipe through rankings.
Question, button. Writing, 78.96%.
And this is just telling you where you rank among the rest of the users. But I'm wanting to get to activity.
John, Joe, August, set, October, November, December, 11 minutes. Selected. John, Joe, August, set, October, question, button.
And what this was doing is there's another type of graph that is being presented showing the minutes or time played for the week. And it does read what is on the x-axis and the y-axis. However, it does not read the data points that are there. So again, the screen reader works a little bit, but it's not actually telling you what information is being presented in an image. So the next and final thing that I would like to demonstrate here is, once again, I'm going back to the tabs, and I'm going to just click the bottom.
Tab, 3 of 5.
And I'm looking for more, so I'm going to keep swiping right.
Notifications, more, tab, 5 of 5.
I'm going to double tap.
More, heading.
And I'm looking for the help section.
More settings, subscription button, subscribed, help.
So double tap.
More, back button, help, heading.
And what I appreciated about this was how readable many of the features here were. Like, I got really excited when I was using the VoiceOver. One thing right off the bat, though, if I swipe right again,
general questions, link.
The general questions link would make me assume that I could double tap to open. So I'm going to try and double tap.
General questions, link.
And it just reads it again. I can't actually double tap to open what the general questions are. And the general questions are actually shown at the bottom portion of the screen right now. So maybe that's why. So I'm going to try swiping right.
Terms of service, link.
And there's a link for terms of service. And the terms of service is not presented visually on the screen right now. So I'm going to try and double tap to open.
Terms of service, link.
And that also, the link does not open. So I was pretty disappointed that the links that were there actually did not open. So I'm just going to swipe through.
Payment policy, link.
And I'm going to swipe one more time.
General questions, heading level 1.
And that's what I was excited about, is that the general questions and all of the information that were provided in the general questions actually have label headings. So general questions, level heading 1.
Account management, heading level 2. How do I cancel my free trial or pro subscription? Heading level 3. Manage subscription, link. How do I change the time I receive my training reminder? Heading level 3.
So heading level 3, the answer for that is there and will be probably a different heading level. But there was something interesting that I found about this. As I swipe right to scroll through and have the screen reader read.
From the main menu, tap on the.
I have to keep reading. I have to keep swiping through. And the reason is because the next word is presented in italics.
More.
So it says from the main menu, tap on the more. And more is in italics. So anytime there is a change in like the standard font, you have to continue to swipe right to get through the information. So there's 2 more instances in this piece of information where you have to kind of prompt the screen reader through.
Icon and then tap on. Settings. Choose. Notifications.
But if it's all the same standard font, it will read it all at once.
From there you can enable or disable a reminder and modify the time it arrives on your device.
So that's pretty much it for my demo. So now I'm left with the task of providing a grade in regards to accessibility for the Elevate app. And here I'm frustrated because I think that there's aspects of this app that are accessible, particularly the piece that we just went over on the help screen. and most of the menus could be read and navigated with relative ease. A few of the screens had errors with content reading order, and the data and graphs did not read at all. But the entire function of this app is to involve people in brain training games. And this was the piece that did not work well at all. Well, did not work at all. And neither did the study or practice links, which I didn't go through. But there is, in the study section, there's a link where if we go through, we get to a point where we can no longer do anything in the app and we can't back out of it while we're in the screen reader. So we kind of have to just shut everything down and I guess not use the app anymore because remember, it opens back where we left off. So for accessibility and pairing Elevate with a screen reader, I have to give this app an F. It is not accessible
Screen dimmed.
in the ways that it is intended for visual learners. And even though I'm really excited about the headings and the help section, maybe I could give it an F+. But the good news is there's a ton of room to grow here. I know that Elevate has its headquarters.
3:20 p.m.
Ooh, my screen dimmed. I know that Elevate has its headquarters in San Francisco, and I also know that there are tons of engineers and developers in San Francisco who also have visual impairment. So my first bit of advice is to reach out to those in the community who can help you with accessibility. What I would like to see for improvements in this app are to create an app or to create games in the app that can be read with a screen reader, that can be read with assistive technology. Move away from timed responses and focus on creating games that only use lives, and incorrect answers would make you then lose a life. I know that there were a few in there, but I think more need to be developed. Second, I would arrange the content in a manner that makes sense for a screen reader. So visually appealing is fantastic, but it doesn't mean that it translates with the screen reader. Third, I would provide alternative descriptions for the images, graphs, and data. If there's going to be a picture involved to help visual players, I think that there also needs to be alternative descriptions for those. And finally, if you're going to have a hyperlink, please let it work when the VoiceOver function is on and the gestures for opening is performed. Thank you for your time.